As the 2016 U.S. presidential election campaign heads into its final weeks, CPPR would like to engage all on how the U.S. electoral system actually works out. The U.S. system follows a presidential democracy where the president is the head of the government and the head of the state and is elected for a fixed tenure of 4 years. In the U.S., the Federal Election Commission is the independent regulatory agency that is vested with responsibility of administering and enforcing the federal election law of the country. But we cannot see a constitutional provision stating the rights of citizens to vote, though the law details out means for voting the president and includes amendments extending voting rights to all citizens without any discrimination. Therefore, in the US, right to vote remains a norm and it's not explicitly stated in the Constitution. An explanation of the legislative structure in US will help understand the electoral system better. In the US, the Congress is a legislative branch of the government and it has two houses, namely the House of Representatives, lower house with 435 members, and the Senate, upper house with 100 members. The members of House of Representatives belong to the congressional districts of the 50 states in the US and are elected every 2 years. This means a midterm election is held when a president is in the office. The members of the Senate are elected for a term of 6 years and every state in the US is allotted 2 senators each and 1/3 of them go for re-election every 2 years. The presidential election process is split into 2 phases. First, there is voting for the presidential nomination in the primaries and caucuses. This takes place on different days across the states in the country. Second, there is a general election that takes place on the election day across the country. Depending on the population, each state is allotted a number of delegates. Therefore, the primaries and caucuses are means by which the states choose the delegates who in turn pledge to endorse a candidate at the party conventions. The major difference is that in primaries, it is the state and local governments that fund and conduct the elections, while the political parties conduct the same in the caucuses. Some states conduct either primaries or caucuses, while some employ a combination of both. They are held between January and June prior to the general election in November. In the primaries, the citizens cast votes for the delegates of their choice. In the caucuses, the potential delegates are chosen from amongst favorable individuals within the party. An informal vote is then held for finalizing the delegates who will serve at the national party conventions. The result of the primaries and caucuses will bind the convention delegates to particular candidates, and the ones who clear a threshold of votes in the respective political units will be the nominees. At the widely televised nominating conventions, the respective parties promote the nominees. The winning candidate later chooses their running mate or vice presidential candidate and they together constitute the presidential ticket. Later on, we see the candidates conducting campaigns to rally maximum support from their masses. On the election day, the public cast their votes simultaneously for the members of the House of Representatives and 1/3 of the Senate and for one presidential ticket. But the public cannot directly elect the president. It's here that the role of the Electoral College becomes significant. According to the US Constitution, Article 2, Section 1, Electoral College acts as a formal body that elects the president and vice president. The electors represent their respective states in the Electoral College and choose the president and vice president. And it is widely expected that in the Electoral College, the electors adhere to the common norm of voting for their party nominees. Thus, citizens are represented through the electors and the process qualifies itself as an indirect election. Each state has a number of electoral votes equal to the representation in the House of the Congress. Therefore, the Electoral College, comprising 538 elected representatives, that is 435 from the 50 congressional districts, 100 senators, and 3 electors from the Districts of Columbia, cast their votes to elect the president and vice president. The candidate who secures a majority, 270 or more, becomes the president. At times of a deadlock in the electoral votes, Each state delegates from the House of Representatives gets to choose the winner from the top 3 contenders, and the candidates winning the majority of the states wins the election. But the candidate who wins the most votes in the states and not the majority votes gets the entire votes in the Electoral College from that state. Therefore, the minority goes underrepresented. This makes the candidates to focus more on swing states than on states where they expect to win or lose by a huge margin. That is, these states have voters who do not identify strongly with either of the parties and have those who did not vote for the same party in the last 2 elections. As the election campaign enters its final legs, fingers are crossed. The 3 presidential debates are over. We are yet to see and know who will be the 45th president of U.S. Can the Republican Party secure their congressional majority, or will the most powerful nation get to see the first ever lady president? As the oldest democracy goes to polls this November, amidst fears of elections being rigged, the U.S. democracy is also facing a test of its legitimacy.